We're learning more today about how the head of the Archdiocese of Los Angeles handled the sex abuse scandal in the Roman Catholic Church. A court in Los Angeles released hours of videotaped testimony by Cardinal Roger Mahony. The depositions reveal a system that, intentionally or not, protected priests over children. NPR's Barbara Bradley Haggerty reports.
The deposition was taken in a lawsuit involving Father Michael Baker, who's believed to have abused 24 children over a quarter century. Baker didn't hide his predilections. He told Mahony back in 1986 that he had been abusing 2 boys for 7 years. Plaintiff's attorney John Manley asks whether he called the police. Cardinal Mahony answers no.
My first approach is always the pastoral one.
In this case, that meant sending Michael Baker for treatment and keeping him in restricted ministry where, theoretically, he didn't have access to children. Mahony says he relied on Baker to tell him where he could find the victims so that the Archdiocese could help. According to Mahony, Baker said he didn't know.
And you believed him?
Unfortunately, I believed everything he said.
Baker was moved to 9 different parishes over the next few years. He was supposed to be monitored, but in 1996, a 16-year-old boy was spotted outside of Baker's room in the rectory at St. Columkill Parish. Mahony acknowledges that was a violation of Baker's agreement.
It was certainly a suspicious activity.
Okay, and there was a suspicion he may have molested the child, right?
Possibly.
Okay. So I take it that the police were called and Child Protective Services were notified?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Mahony says they investigated and decided nothing improper happened. But in 2000, 2 young men in Arizona claimed that Baker had been abusing them for 15 years and threatened to sue. The Archdiocese settled immediately for $1.3 million. In the deposition, Manley asks Cardinal Mahony if he then called law enforcement.
I did not.
Why?
The 2 men were adults. They were not children, so there was no longer suspected child abuse. These were adults.
Mahony's own policies required that the Archdiocese alert law enforcement. In addition, Mahony was urged by Richard Loomis, who oversaw all the priests in the Archdiocese, to tell parishes about Baker and encourage other victims to come forward.
Did you specifically direct Monsignor Loomis, when he wanted to go to the parishes and make an announcement, not to?
I recommended to him that we wait a month or 2.
But Cardinal Mahony waited almost 2 years after the settlement before telling the parishes or giving Baker's name to the police. At the end of the deposition, Manley asks Cardinal Mahony if he felt he had made any mistakes in handling Michael Baker. Mahony's answer, I believed him.
I believed him all along, that he was making progress. He was going to the therapist. There were no new offenses. And I just believed that he really intended to reform. And we found out later that he lived a huge lie all those years.
Plaintiff's attorney John Manley believes this deposition shows an attempt by the Archdiocese to cover up abuse and protect Baker and dozens of other pedophile priests.
Until somebody is held criminally accountable for this type of conduct, this scandal and this type of conduct resulting in the rape of children will continue.
Archdiocese spokesman Todd Tamberg vigorously disagrees. He says there's no smoking gun that points to criminal conduct and says all this information was laid out in a report in 2004. He adds the Baker case is a wake-up call.
All of us have learned that appearances, explanations, and even denials can't be accepted at face value when you're dealing with potential child abuse.
In a statement issued today, Cardinal Mahony apologized for mishandling the Baker case. He added that the new policies in place will, quote, keep our children and young people safe from predators like Michael Baker. Barbara Bradley Haggerty, NPR News.